How's it going, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Knaxel. Thanks so much for joining me. I have two things I want to get into today. Number one is Drake, who is literally at the number one in this moment in time. He simultaneously released albums, so we're going to talk about that. And also some updates on the FIFA World Cup. We've got less than a month to go. I am super excited. Not so much about the games, but more about everything surrounding this World Cup. Let's get into it.
Drake can still produce gold, so why does he insist on being such a loser? That is a valid question. I listened to some of the tracks on the albums myself, not one of them did anything for me. And I neither dislike Drake nor like him. These songs are just so monotonous, so monotone, it's hard to distinguish between any single production or variation within them. Drake's released these albums 2 years after he's got brutally beaten down by Kendrick. You'll remember that battle. And obviously Kendrick has been cleared from any wrongdoing after calling Drake and his homies certified PDFs. These three albums spawn an eye-watering 43 songs of 142 minutes. This is one of the problems with Drake. He is unable to edit himself. He cannot bring anything in a condensed version. And all the albums end up sounding like there's just nothing for him to say. There's nothing new to him to visit. He doesn't introduce us to any new things. It's just Drake, well, being Drake at this point. Obviously, he dumped that massive block of ice on Toronto Square last month in preparation for the album's release, and the strained relationship with his record label, Universal, might have something to do with the fact that he's releasing 3 albums at the same time. Drake's grievance is of course with Universal Music Group, to which Kendrick is also signed, and he allowed him to defame him by publishing and advertising Kendrick's song Not Like Us. The lawsuit was dismissed last year after a judge ruled that no reasonable person would understand the PDF's allegation to be factual in a rap battle context. Universal Music Group has said they look forward to continuing to work with Drake, even though that feeling probably wasn't mutual, because Drake has also appealed the decision last month in court, so we'll see what happens with that. While listening to the album Iceman, for example, Drake just cannot stop being his own worst enemy. He lashes out at foes, at his haters, at his secret admirers, his biggest haters being his biggest fans secretly. We just can't get over the fact that the material just isn't very good. Misogyny, unprecedented beat switches, auto-tune, and rehashing of old gripes. Drake is really failing to give us anything new at this point. And it also ends up with Drake just sounding cheesy, which he is no stranger to, I have to admit. Anyway, so Drake has pretty much fulfilled his album's deal, so we'll see what's next for him. In other news, we've got less than a month to go until the first match kicks off the World Cup of 2026. From what I'm witnessing, it's a really weird World Cup that we're heading towards. There's no excitement from what I can see, no one's talking about it, and people who are talking about it for the wrong reasons. Everybody's basically waiting for this World Cup to blow up in everybody's faces, i.e. FIFA's face and Trump's.
That cares about the people. We want to live in a safe world, in a safe environment. We want to unite. That's what we do here today. That's what we'll do at the World Cup, Mr. President. And you definitely deserve the first FIFA Peace Prize for your action, for what you have obtained in your way.
We already know that the World Cup in 2022 failed to deliver on its environmental promises. 2026 is only going to be worse. From air travel emissions to heat-related dangers, the 2026 edition is already a hot mess. Never at any point in history has anything been so politically charged as this World Cup tournament. And everything's politically charged nowadays. You can't go to a concert, to turn on the news, but the World Cup 2026 is a different matter entirely. With Trump and FIFA both corrupt to the core, it is also the most politically volatile World Cup we've ever witnessed. Starting with the fact that this World Cup will generate the most pollution than any other World Cup before. Total greenhouse gas emissions are going to hit 2 times the historical average. Scientists conservatively project that the tournament will generate around 9 million tons of carbon dioxide. The air travel alone will comprise of approximately 7.7 million tons of this carbon budget, and more than 4 times that of the average for tournaments held between 2010 and 22. And FIFA are to blame for this. The scale alone has not existed before. Canada, US, and Mexico, 2 great countries amongst the 3 that will be hosting this massive event. Just the travelling distance in between matches is going to emit so much chaos, so much pollution. We can't really understand the scale of what's happening quite. It's also questionable if the safety of the players can be guaranteed, along with the visitors. Thanks to the extreme heat brought on by the rampant climate change, the National Weather Service is warning that every single region of the US will experience temperatures that exceed the historical averages for the 2 months in which the tournament will take place. Researchers by The Guardian found that high levels of heat and humidity will impact the ability of teams to perform on the field, so whoever is used to the heat will essentially win. I guess that means we're out. It's the last week of May and I'm sweating my balls off here. God knows how the players are going to handle this in the US and Mexico. FIFA plans to mitigate this by having games start later in the day where the heat won't be as strong anymore. FIFA is also planning on giving regular 3-minute water breaks, so it'll be fun to witness all the interruptions within the 45-minute of gameplay. Not to mention the VAR correspondence and the interruptions that will bring while the VAR refs see if something is offside. That reminds me that Germany will probably need a few test runs until they remember what offside is. FIFA and its president, Infantino, have built the 48-team competition as a pivotal opportunity for soccer in general and the US in particular. The US is set to host 78 out of the 104 games taking place. FIFA's forecast that the tournament would generate $80 billion, with $30 billion of that going directly to the US economy. But the problem is, none of that's really materialized so far. The World Cup was supposed to provide a massive economic boom for the US, but it's not come into effect so far. A report produced by the American Hotel and Lodging Association has found that bookings are well below expectations in almost every host city. This does not align with FIFA's statement that more than 5 million tickets have been sold so far, and it creates the risk that the anticipated economic lift may fall short. FIFA's false claim that 5 million tickets have already been sold leads to an artificially high pricing within the hotels. You know, the dynamic pricing effect, and FIFA cancelling such a large number of its rooms has been replaced by a vacuum availability. But FIFA of course does not recognise this accusation. Hotels say the high match ticketing price, local transport and tax costs, and the political environment have put visitors off. For the hotels, this tournament could fall flat. Last year, FIFA predicted that the US World Cup would generate 185,000 jobs, adding 17.2 billion in gross domestic product. So the hotels were planning for an influx of travellers from all over the world. But with fans being threatened by the broader economic, socio-economic environment, not a lot of people are visiting the US at this point. The Hotels Association says that FIFA has manufactured artificial demand and masked the fact that tourist flow is going to be lower than predicted. Up to 70% of the rooms booked by FIFA in Boston, Dallas, LA, Philadelphia and Seattle have been cancelled. In a statement, FIFA rejected the claims and said it had followed agreements made with the hotel chain. Let me know in the comments if you yourself or if you know anybody who's going. But with not everybody being interested in seeing Ghana play Uruguay, as they are maybe seeing France play Spain, it's just not going to generate the same hype. FIFA has now said that a lot of fans are waiting to see who will get into the knockout phases and the final before they make any bookings. Well, hotels will inevitably have to rely on making better deals closer to the finals in the hope that people will then book. Either way, the World Cup is unlikely to generate the revenue that FIFA had been hoping for. Even Trump himself has stated that he wouldn't pay the high ticket price. He wouldn't even pay $1,000 to watch his own team play Paraguay in the opener, quoting, "I would certainly like to be there, but I wouldn't pay it either, to be honest with you." So FIFA has been criticised for its extortionate ticket prices. This marks such a departure from previous World Cups. Now, high elite sport competitions, pricey sports events are nothing unusual in the US, but it does seem to stretch everybody's budget at this point in time. So it'll be interesting to see how full these stadiums are, how many people are there, what the atmosphere is going to be like. I can't imagine it being very loud. If people from Queens and Brooklyn and all of the people that love Donald Trump can't go, I would be disappointed. But you know, at the same time, it's an amazing success, added Trump. I would like to be able to have the people that voted for me to be able to go. So selfless. Let me know what you guys think. Are you going? What matches are you looking forward to seeing? And how this World Cup just differs from previous World Cups we've had. My name's Knaxel, thanks again, and I'll see you on the next one.